So every year I have the pleasure to kick off this conference with a presentation on the key findings from our annual e-commerce analysis. For 7 years so far I've been giving this talk in Macedonian, but since our conference is growing every year and we attract more and more people from the region, and also since I'm giving a hard time to the translators who are giving me remarks that I speak too fast in some parts, this year I'll be speaking in English. So every year we collect data, we analyze, and we produce a comprehensive e-commerce report. For 5 years we've been doing it for North Macedonia, and it was published in Macedonian. Last year, for the first time, we expanded the scope to cover the Western Balkans, and we published it in English. And this is the second edition also covering the Western Balkans, but it's a more compact, light version. We know no one wants to read long reports anymore. And besides, it is based on the last available secondary data. So some years we also do surveys and questionnaires to companies as well to shoppers, but this year it's based on the last secondary data, providing a compact overview. My presentation will follow basically the structure of the report. So in the next 15 minutes or so, you will get the chance to learn about the Western Balkans e-commerce outlook, the trends in internet usage, also what do people do when online. Then we will take a look at a bit of more advanced activities online, like the digital finance activities. And we will also take a look at how much internet users use government services, which basically speak about the digital maturity of the market. Then we go to the companies, or to the supply side, and we will take a look at how much companies sell online and their digital readiness. And last, we zoom out and we will see the overall digital readiness of the Western Balkans. Let's take a look at the e-commerce market size and growth potential, the share of online shoppers, and what do they buy online. So there is uneven market development across the region, with Serbia being the leading market, with over €1 billion in market revenue and the highest growth rate of about 9.3%. Albania and Bosnia and Herzegovina both have €557 million in revenue. And they both project similar growth rates of about 7%, while Montenegro has the highest average revenue per user, followed by North Macedonia, and they both project similar user penetration rates. So when speaking about user penetration rates, basically the Western Balkans are lagging far behind the EU, where the user penetration rate stands at 60% on average. So there is double-digit growth in the number of online shoppers as a percentage of internet users. You can see here that Bosnia and Herzegovina, Albania and North Macedonia all have a double-digit growth of 22 percentage points to 20, to Macedonia 18 percentage points. But despite this impressive and encouraging growth, the Western Balkans are still, as we can see, lagging behind. The leading market in the Western Balkans is Serbia with 65%, followed by Macedonia, 63% of users buying online. Clothes is of course in Europe and in the Western Balkans the most shopped category online, with Albania leading here on the chart, actually above the EU average. So although Albania has one of the lowest shares of online shoppers, at 42%, they are at the same time one of the most active ones. So those that shop really shop across all categories. We can see that also here. So Albania is above the EU average in beauty and cosmetic products, in computers and tablets, in food deliveries as well. While, for instance, Montenegro is above the EU average in sports and food deliveries from restaurants. Then Serbia is above the average in buying spare parts for bicycles and vehicles. And Macedonia exhibits a pretty moderate engagement across all categories, while showing significant potential for growth in food deliveries especially. And Bosnia and Herzegovina is one of the weakest performers basically across all categories. If we take a look at the services, because this was good, now we take a look at the services and how much users shop services online. Macedonia is actually leader in subscription-based services, and bill payment is more than double than the EU average, as you can see on the first two charts. So 44% of users get subscription-based services online. On the other hand, Albania stands out for music streaming services. It's not above the average, but it's still leading the Western Balkans. Now let's take a look at what the users do, how much they use the internet, and what are the common activities online, and what are the not so common activities that basically explain the low engagement in e-commerce. So there is steady growth in internet use, with North Macedonia leading the region. It is the only country with 7% growth last year, 2024 actually. It is nearing the EU average, while the other markets have all surpassed the threshold of 85% of the population using the internet. And on the other hand, when we speak about the frequency of use, so basically once they connect, they don't get off. They are using the internet on a daily basis quite more than the EU average. We can see the Western Balkans here on all the charts marked in yellow for easier identification. So the most common activities again, phone calls, video calls and messaging, again leading and above the EU average comparing to the other markets. Also same applies for using the internet for social media. But if we take a look at a bit more productive use, like for instance sending or receiving emails, we can see that the Western Balkans basically move from the front part of the chart to the back. So they are below the EU average in using the internet for sending emails, and also for seeking information about products. So basically in order to buy online you need to be searching information about products. So Serbia and Bosnia and Herzegovina are near the EU average but still below. Then when it comes to selling goods or services, except for Bosnia and Herzegovina, that is pretty advanced comparing to the peers. All the others have minimal engagement in this activity. And e-banking again remains worryingly low. I know we have all the bankers with us here in the audience. So there is progress, but again we are far from EU, so I really hope that we will be able next year to see a bit of movement here. And two more activities that we take a look this year is actually how much internet users use the internet to open accounts and to delete accounts, which speaks about the maturity. So in order for you to be engaged in online shopping and e-commerce, you need to open an account on a platform. So this is why we take a look at this indicator. And except for Serbia and Bosnia and Herzegovina, they're near the average. The others, you can see, that are lagging behind. And same applies for deleting accounts, with the difference that Montenegro here is more advanced than the peers. So although this activity might seem trivial, it is important because it speaks about the privacy literacy of the market. And now let's take a look at a bit more advanced activities. So how much internet users take online insurance or online credit, or how much they invest online. So online insurance, for instance, getting travel insurance online or getting a package with an airline ticket is still a very rare habit in the Western Balkans. Although we can say that in the EU is pretty modest, the average standing at 13%. Macedonia here is better than the peers with 7%. So I can say to the insurance companies here in the audience, you're doing a better job probably than your peers in the region, but there is still a way to go. When we speak about taking online credit, except for Bosnia and Herzegovina, that is almost the same with the EU average. All the others have low engagement. And also investing digitally, this is a common activity in countries like Norway, Sweden or Finland, but it's very minimal in the Balkans, with 1 or below 1% of the internet users investing digitally. So the region internet users are digitally present, they're connected, but they're disconnected financially, which slows down the development of fintech solutions that are in turn important for e-commerce development. And now we take a look at government services online and how much they use the internet to, let's say, search for public records online, to get personal information online, or to contact the authorities or request official documents. So we can say that public registers are still a closed book in much of the Western Balkans, with Serbia being closest to the EU average, but still we can see that all the countries have a way to go. On the other hand, if we take a look at accessing personal information, such as accessing health records, which speaks about the maturity and the digital trust, Albania stands out, and not only from the region, but it stands out as well in Europe because it's above the EU average, and this is probably due to recent reforms that the government has taken in terms of e-government. So same applies for the other activities like digital interaction with authorities. We can see again that only Albania stands out while the others are below the average. And you can see here that actually Albania is the second in Europe after Luxembourg in requesting official documents online. Macedonia has 17%, so we heard the minister in his welcome speech that some reforms are planned, so I hope that we will see results also in the charts even in the next year or in the next years. And now let's take a look at the side of the supply. So we take the data of the Western Balkan Barometer, and we will take a look at how much companies in the Balkans sell online, what is their contribution of e-commerce in total sales, how important is it, and what is the digital infrastructure or what digital services are they using. So on average, only 27% of companies in the Western Balkans sell online, and there is pretty limited and uneven adoption, because as you can see here, Bosnia and Herzegovina has 48% of companies selling online. On the other hand, we have countries like Serbia, Macedonia and Albania with only 17 and 19% of companies selling online. When it comes to how much e-commerce contributes or participates in the total sale of the companies, its role is pretty insignificant still or marginal, with the majority of companies reporting only below 5% e-commerce sales in total sales. Then we also took a look at some activities such as how much companies have a company email system or financial accounting software or ERP, or also how much they use AI tools. And we can say again there's uneven digital maturity. For instance, for companies in Albania and Serbia, it's pretty common to have a company email system and a company web page, but in Montenegro it's not so common. Montenegro is the yellow column. On the other hand, companies in Montenegro, 30% of them have ERP systems in place, but only 12% on average in the Western Balkans. And now, because the topic of the conference is AI, is the last chart, as you can see, so only 2% of companies in the Western Balkans are using AI tools for work. And it's 3 and 4% in countries like Kosovo, Albania and Montenegro. On the other hand, it's only 1% in the others. So only 1% of companies in Macedonia and Serbia are using AI tools. And last but not least, as I said, we will take a look at the digital readiness of the Western Balkans overall by taking a look at 3 relevant indexes. So it's the Postal Development Index, is the Network Readiness Index, and the AI Preparedness Index, which we are analyzing for the first time in this analysis. So we know that logistics and delivery are the core of the e-commerce ecosystem. And actually last year in the analysis we did a survey to companies in the Western Balkans, and they said that challenge number 1 is the delivery. And now this year, although we can see that there is still the countries comparing to the EU are lagging, but there is a progress that is worth to mention. This index covers 4 dimensions, and the dimension of reliability actually measures the efficiency of the postal operators. And in this particular dimension, Macedonia has a quite significant growth. The same applies for Bosnia and Herzegovina. So there is progress that is positive. And when it comes to the Network Readiness Index, which measures actually how much a country is ready to use or capitalize on the benefits from the digital revolution, it's a global index measured for 130 economies. Countries like European countries are globally ranked on the top, showing more advanced digital ecosystems. And Serbia from the Western Balkans is ranked globally 47, so it's better than the others, but still far behind the EU. And the AI Preparedness Index, we can say that the Western Balkans faces hurdles in utilizing the benefits for work and for e-commerce. Again, it's an index composed of 4 dimensions, and the Western Balkans are still on the lower end spectrum of the chart as well. So I hope that we will be speaking today with the AI in focus how we can accelerate this growth. and that's why we have everybody here today. And last but not least, I just want to share with you a little bit about our work and how we fasten the future of e-commerce in 2025. So the Macedonian E-commerce Association is working since 2017, and we have 140 members in our e-commerce ecosystem. So I use this opportunity to invite some of you who are here, if you're not members in the association and you'd like to become part and be connected with the e-commerce opportunity, feel free to reach out to our team. And during the year, actually this analysis, we use it to tackle the challenges, to analyze and to see what are the burning issues. And based on that, we designed our annual program in the association. So last year, some of the numbers some of the results or KPIs that we have is that we supported 20 companies to open e-shop. So in these 120 new companies, 20 were supported by us to launch online sales. And this was supported by Visa, this activity. We have this trust mark badge in order to increase the trust. So almost 100 companies already have this badge. And for a fourth time in a row, we organized traditionally the e-commerce awards in order to encourage and award the best, but also to motivate improvement in the industry as a whole. And of course, because I mentioned in my welcome speech that we have this e-invoice and digital fiscal bill and all the new reforms, so we are pretty active and loud in these working groups and institutions in order to foster a better solution for the e-sellers. So that's all from my side. We have 2 more minutes if anybody has any question. If not, I hope that I set the stage and gave you an overview of the Western Balkans e-commerce and overall in Europe, so that you can now enjoy the other talks, speak about the challenges, but also get inspired and speak how we can move these charts a bit next year. Thank you very much.